I just wanted to do that. I know there's not much point really anymore. Still have it. So what's going on, folks? I'm Renegade. I know it's been a little while. You know, life kind of gets in the way and things. But I figured, time for another video. Figured a little reflecting as I cook. Although right now it's mostly just waiting for things to finish heating up. I got water in the pot boiling, or waiting for it to boil. Yes, surprise, surprise, Renegade knows how to cook. Valuable life skill one always needs, because we all gotta eat. And I'm not rich. I'm not paying for buttloads of food to be delivered to my house. And if you're gonna cook, if you're gonna eat, why not make food that actually tastes good? Although tonight's a little bit of an easy dinner for me, just because, well, frankly, it's gotten late. And just the day got away from me, so I'm just trying to make something quick. So yeah, it's been a little while since I made a video. And as always, as I continue to say so many times, I feel like I'm a damn broken record. Life has just kind of gotten in the way. I got a lot of things going on. It is what it is. But some things have been long-running projects or goals that I've been working on. I think you guys can kind of see, because, you know, I'm a crazy mechanic. I have an oil filter here in my kitchen. And the only reason I have it here is because I haven't taken it down to the garage yet. Because, save for opening that window, I haven't actually gone down to the garage since shortly after mail got here. I'll explain that a little later. So if you guys stick through to the end of this video, I'm going to give you guys a couple clues as to projects that are going on, and I'll show you a couple cool little things. And hopefully you guys will like the video. If you do, make sure you hit like and hit subscribe, you know, notification bell, so you get notified when I upload a new video. The whole 9 yards that everyone always talks about. But I was stopping and I was thinking about it earlier, because a lot has happened in the last year. We're now into the beginning of February for me. But yeah, we're in the beginning of February, which means we got essentially 2 more months until things warm up outside and we can do stuff outside. I can't wait for that, because I got a bunch of stuff that I want to do outside that it's difficult to do because of the cold. I've made do with some stuff that I've been able to, like, I got a big project that I'm working on in the garage. Some of it has to be done outside. A lot of it's I can bring inside. Again, I'll show you that later. As you can tell, my hair has gotten really long. I'm starting to get these weird clown things. But I haven't gotten a haircut in a while. I'm not really one who cares all that much, honestly. So one of the things that sparks this thought in my head is that tomorrow is my father's birthday. Now, I don't have contact with the man anymore. I don't speak to him. It's been well over a year since he's tried talking to me, even remotely. And there's really no love lost there. But it's kind of funny to get that reminder and be like, oh yeah, it's this kind of landmark date that I should care more about, but I kind of don't. And well, how long has it been? And oh, and you stop and think about it. It's like, man, it's been over 2 years since I spoke to the man. Before that was just a bunch of mess that happened, and wow, my life has changed a lot in the last 3 years, just over. It's kind of crazy. And you know, you think back and you think about how much my life has changed since starting this channel. Now, I get it. It's a small channel, and I don't focus on it as much as maybe some of the big YouTubers do. It is what it is. So like, you know, you guys don't know all the ins and outs of my life. But, you know, there's a little bit you guys do know. For instance, since starting my channel 5 years ago, I have had a couple different jobs. A few different jobs, actually. I had an overnight job that I worked when I first started the channel. And I gave that up because overnight jobs suck. So I got a better job that I thought was going to be better. That got ruined by an ex-girlfriend. And then move forward, and I leave that job for another job that I think is going to be better, and that didn't pan out because, well, frankly, because the bosses, it's all nepotism there, really. I don't have the right last name for that. Cool. But while working there was when I sustained my hand injury. And that was a bad time. Fast forwards a bit more, and COVID happens, and we muddle through COVID, and then my mother passes away, which sets off a chain reaction of crap, for lack of a better word. And yet somehow I ended up in a better place than I was 4 years ago. Or before she passed away, whatever. And now I'm at a different job that is better. And I like it a lot more. But it too has its issues. The job's perfect, right? Can't say much on that because it's an ongoing thing. It's nothing major, don't worry. I hope no one's looking at this and going, good Lord, Renegade, another one? Are you kidding me? No. But a new and better job making a much better wage than I have ever gotten before. So that's what matters. Shortly before taking this job, I had a relationship that started off fantastically, so wonderfully that I proposed to the girl, we got engaged, and then that didn't end well. We're not going to get into the details of any of these relationships. I've kind of... Anywho. But it's crazy to think that all these things have happened in a pretty short amount of time. During this span, I've also basically finished rebuilding, or finished my custom build, I should say, on my XJ600. I bought the Suzuki Intruder, customized that, sold that, kind of wish I hadn't, happens. Started rebuilding my Maxim, my first bike, and now that's almost done. I'll show you that a little later too. And bought the Porsche. That's a long going project. Got my mother's 91 Volvo 240 that I inherited on the road. Now I'm daily driving that while I do a big project on Lucille, my black 87 245. It's a lot. And that's just external stuff. That's not talking about the internal things that I've been kind of struggling through. One thing I've made mention of before, several times in this video, is that I suffer from depression. Clinical diagnosis of major depressive disorder. Not in therapy, not on medications. Probably should be, but I'm not. So there's an aspect of my life that has been dealing with that. Trying to kind of, not quite come to terms with it, but trying to get by with it. trying to understand it better, trying to understand what sets me off, sets me down the spirals, and what to do when I get into those spirals. I mean, if you guys want, leave a comment down below and maybe we'll talk about this in another video. Keep in mind that I'm not a doctor and these are things that would work for me, not necessarily for everyone else. Almost to boiling. Okay. So there's been a good amount that's been, you know, trying to understand my mind and understand the things that I have dealt with and how that has affected me and what are kind of warning signs. For example, I've had a long history of dealing with narcissists. I've dated a few narcissists. I'm not naming any names, chill out. I've dated a few narcissists. My parents are both narcissistic. Yeah, narcissistic people. Not an easy word to struggle through. You know, worked with narcissists or for narcissists. There's a lot. So I've kind of been trying to come to grips and trying to understand what that is, what that means, and how best to navigate around that. And a lot of it's also been like trying to understand that, hey, what they did wasn't on me. It's not my fault. I can't beat myself up for that. Because when you deal with narcissistic people who like to emotionally and mentally abuse you, and you suffer from depression, it's a fun spiral, ladies and gentlemen. But again, it's something I'm working on. It's a lot of working on myself. Trying to work on my self-image too, how I think of myself. Woo, wrong direction. Again, it's a lot of stuff, you know? And that's something I might get into in another video down the road. But the main thing is, I said, it's been a lot going on up here. A lot of me trying to figure myself out, trying to figure out how my brain is working and everything like that. And yes, by the way, this is coffee. I realize the clock says it's almost 10 o'clock at night. I'm drinking coffee before I eat my dinner. I drink coffee all the time. Helps the brain. So yeah, a lot of me trying to figure myself out and trying to basically keep myself from beating myself up. And it's always fun, you know? Especially when outside forces like to remind you and poke at you and poke at you. And like I said, it's just, to me, it is amazing how much life has changed in 5 years. 5 years ago, I was living in this house. It was my parents' house. Yeah, I realize we're talking about in my 30s. It was a bad situation. Things were very difficult. Let's leave it at that. All right, not my choice, but at least I had a roof over my head. Yeah, 5 years ago, I was living here with my parents, and things weren't great. I don't necessarily want to air a bunch of dirty laundry in this video, so we won't get too far into it. Trying to find happiness and trying to figure out where I was going with life and thinking down the road to hopefully owning a house one day. Now, this is my house. My childhood house is my house. Keep hitting my head on the damn spider. That's what this is, by the way. This is called a spider. It's not one of the eight-legged friends. So very quickly from that point, I had to learn a lot and grow up. Like I always thought myself as being fairly emotionally grown up, but then there was a lot of life, like adult style life skills that I didn't have. Example, I didn't know how to cook until 4 years ago, I had to start learning. Again, it was a rough time. Chill in the comment section. Okay? Don't need comments about how Renegade's an immature little idiot. I mean, I'm an idiot. I already know that. Anywho. You know, 5 years, and now I've had to learn how to be an adult. Had to learn how to cook, make sure that the house is taken care of, house repairs when I need to, etc., etc. All on top of all the other stuff like going to work, working on cars, working on my projects, because you got to work on cars sometimes to keep them running so you can get to work. If there's a situation like an alternator goes bad, you got to replace the alternator to get to work the next day. My kitchen help. A lot of growing up very quickly for old Renegade here, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's an interesting thing. If you had asked me 5 years ago where I thought I was going to be, this is not where it would be. I never thought that I'd be living in my childhood house, that it would be my house. I never thought I'd be doing the repairs on the house that I did. I never thought I'd own the cars that I do, or be working on the projects that I am. Life takes a strange turn, doesn't it? Ta-da! Dinner, leftovers for lunch. One of the great things about living alone, all the food I make is just for me. I can eat as much as I want. Which I realize, to some people, they might look at me and go, you know, you're awfully skinny. There ain't much to you. You're right. But I eat a lot. It's crazy. Frankly, living alone has been something I've had to take adjustments to as well. Because I never lived alone before. Now, I've been living all by myself, with the exception of Orion and Jessie, the two cats, for several months. Since early July. Meow. It's okay. The cats keep me sane. Ish. Listen, I never thought I would be where I am today. And it's really crazy when you stop and you think about timelines. And I'm not suggesting everyone does this, because it's probably a bad thing for your mental health. Tomorrow is my father's 60th birthday. I'm 35, I'll be 36 in March. My father, so basically, at this point in my life, or I should say, at this point in my father's life, when he was 36, when he was my age, so we had moved into this house. I was 12. My sister would be 8. He was already married, had a 12-year-old and an 8-year-old by my age. That's pretty crazy when you think about the fact that I'm single, have no children. Makes you feel a little behind on, you know, in terms of life achievements and stuff. Like I said, it's not a good thing to do. Don't do that. Don't think in that pattern. Don't compare yourself, because one, the world is very different, and two, everyone's life is different. Of course, I do also see a lot of the people I went to school with that are all having, a lot of them are married, a lot of them are having kids. Practically everyone I went to school with has kids at this point. Some of them have even gotten divorced. In fact, my best friend from high school is on his second wife. It is what it is. Life's crazy. It's a strange road that this life has taken me on. It's a strange place that I find myself. All right, I'm going to eat and I will get right back to you guys. So now, after dinner, time to enjoy my after dinner coffee. Do love coffee. Remember, this is a bad habit. Don't be like me. In 4 years, I had to become an actual full-fledged adult. And very, very rapidly. Like, it wasn't like growing up and into it. It was just like, boom, now you gotta be an adult. Congratulations. Bills are on you, cleaning the house is on you, taking out the trash is on you, fixing the house is on you, cooking is on you. As well as continuing to do all the other things you want to do. And I realize that to some people that seems like, well, duh, that's called life. But you also have to remember, I didn't go through all this until much later on in life than a lot of the other people have. And that was just due to certain circumstances around here. So it's kind of crazy that, like, well, that's what happened. And now here we are. It's a lot to do in such a short period of time. A lot of growth. Like I said, it also comes with, comes at the same time that I'm also trying to figure out more about my brain. Why I am the way I am. What has affected me and how it's affected me and how it should have affected me. But because I am a well-adjusted adult, things like the lack of therapy have kind of not allowed things to run proper courses in the best way possible. Yeah. Like I said, it's just a crazy life that I've been on. And led me to places that I never thought I would be. And led me to do things in ways that I never thought I would have to. Maybe it's naivety, but I never thought down the road at having to take on so much so quickly. But I did, because it's life. It's what happens. Like I said, to stop and think about the fact that, regardless of the fact that I said don't do it, the comparison of where I am in my life to where my father was at the same point in his life, it's a big difference. And it's really weird to stop and think about it. I remember when I was 12 looking at my father as he was encroaching 40. And I thought he was much more mature and much more an adult and kind of, for lack of a better word, older. Now I'm 35. Close to 36. And despite the fact that I do all these adulting things, go to work so I can pay the bills, all the house stuff, the whole 9 yards, I still don't feel like an adult. So that's where I've kind of been lately in my head, is just trying to figure out, where I am in my life currently. 35, got a full-time, year-round job that pays me a decent wage. It doesn't sound really impressive to a lot of people, but here in Cape May, that's not exactly the easiest thing to come by unless you have a specific skill set. Got a house. I know it needs some work, but I have a house that I take care of. And I take care of myself, I take care of my cats. What else do I want to strive for? Obviously, as I said before, I'm single at this point. My relationships in the past have not gone very well for a myriad of reasons. So part of that has been me trying to figure out, what did I do in those relationships that I shouldn't have? Did I do something wrong to hurt the other person? Or did I accept too much and in the process hurt myself? Like, I've had some abusive relationships. Have I taken too much abuse and not put up a fight about it? And that damaged me? I don't know, it's a lot to think about. And as I said, I'm trying to figure out what damage has been done to me that I need to figure out how it has damaged me, how it has scarred me, and what do I do? What do I need to do to kind of rectify the issues? Or is there anything I need to do to rectify the issues? Or is there anything that I need to be aware of for down the road? Like I said, this all comes on top of doing other projects. In fact, I have one I want to show you in a couple of seconds here that I've been doing without recording. Not because I think it would be a bad video. In fact, I think it would have been a great video, but I needed the time for my own headspace. Like I said, I'm always working on something, even if I'm not showing it in a video. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got a lot of things I need to get done, but then also sometimes it's just good for the brain to do things. And sometimes it's good for the brain to do things and not, like, to separate it from trying to do more work and trying to focus on like how to make a video compared to just doing it. Let me show you the other big project. You know what? Let's grab the filter. Now yes, my garage is a mess, but again, I've been working down here. You'll see insulation. Yay. So the big project that I've been working on is this. Look, multiple engines. This right here is a B230 Volvo engine. This is actually a 93 B230F. And that is an 87 B230F with an 89 M47 manual transmission sitting right next to it. Gee, Renegade, you got a lot of engines. Yeah, I know. This one is actually from my mother's old car. Not the one that I currently have and have been driving, but the one she had prior to that. When she owned it, it started to develop a little bit of an issue. Basically, it had a bad cam rattle. And instead of taking my word for it and getting a new camshaft and checking valve clearances, they just got a whole new car. So we took apart the 93 and saved the engine, which now I have rebuilt. And that engine back there is my 87 motor, which means that Lucille is currently sitting there with no engine in her. Or transmission, because that's her transmission as well. I'm rebuilding this engine to go in place of that engine. Because that engine has a few issues. Mainly oil leaks. Been leaking a lot of oil. I'll get more into that at a later date. But I just rebuilt this engine, which will be going into that car with the manual transmission paired to it. And it's all a stepping point for an even larger project that's going to happen. Again, we're going to talk about that more later. And like I said, there she is, my 82 Yamaha XS400, my Maxim, first bike. Still working on it. Got a bunch of electrical work to do. I just haven't taken the time because it's tedious work and just haven't felt like doing it. Plus, it's cold. There's some insulation. I haven't finished insulating this garage, and there's no heat source. So it's a little cold. In fact, this engine block is quite cold because it's metal. And you can see it's only about 40 degrees in here. 42, 44, somewhere in there. So it's working down here is kind of limited time because it's cold. In fact, let's go back up here because I don't like cold. So yeah, like I said, it's been a lot going on lately, and it's been a little crazy, but it's also really good for me. But it's definitely definitely been a lot of thinking, a lot to reflect on, and a lot to think forward to as well. I guess I should have some sort of takeaway for you guys, some sort of lesson to impart. I don't really know. I don't really know the point of this video except as a basic update. And I guess the takeaway would be, you know, if you're going through a lot and you're trying to reflect a lot in your head too, just know that you're not the only one. There's someone else out there that is going through a lot and thinking about it a lot and trying to figure things out. I don't know. Life's crazy. That's the lesson. But for tonight, that's going to do it for me. Very soon we're going to get back to car projects, and very, very soon I'm going to take you guys on a tour and show you guys what all I've been doing to the house and what all I'm still planning on doing and need to work on. So if you guys are looking forward to that, remember to hit the like button and leave me a comment if you got any. You know, I read them all. So until next time, y'all keep rocking and rolling. I'm going to keep taking your business. See you in the next one.